Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault Jersey. Joe Archino back here. And does Tom Coughlin still hold some hard feelings on the Giants organization based on the way things left off? Well, yesterday on the Michael Kay show, he kind of was on the show and kind of said, "Don't think that there aren't hard feelings. There are." And it's one of those things where I had the pleasure of covering the New York Giants this past season for 104.5, the team ESPN Radio Albany. So I was around Coughlin all season. I was at every press conference after every home game. I was in the locker room. I saw him interacting with players, and this is a icon and a guy that I personally have a tremendous amount of respect for because he wasn't just a football coach. This was someone who also stressed life lessons, virtues that would last a lifetime. He always talked about doing things the right way, and I think when he finally resigned, and you saw the outpouring of emotions from players like Steve Weatherford and Justin Tuck, that this man just meant more than the game of football. He stressed the ideals that we should all strive to live by and teaching players how to succeed the rest of their lives, how to treat people, how to act, how to be a better man. And I think for that reason alone, you can't just measure his impact in terms of what he did on the football field, because what he meant and what he represented went far and above beyond that. But moving forward a little bit, it's one of those things. Does Coughlin still possibly hold some hard feelings? And I think that's reasonable to understand why he might. I don't think he really wanted to step away from the game, but he did what he had to do because he really had no argument. And he said if this wasn't the season it was, I would have been back in Mr. Mayor's office asking about next year, but I think sometimes when it's time, and a lot of times we see great stories with whether it's a all-time athlete or an all-time coach. Sometimes it doesn't end well because they just don't know when it's time to hang it up. We've seen it time and time again, especially in the NFL. We don't know right now with Peyton Manning. We might go through something similar, but it looks like sometimes in sports you just don't know when to hang it up. And I think Coughlin is a guy who's always been very aware of his presence, of his image, and clearly for him, he knew it was time to step away. But of course, he didn't want to step away. There's time, even last season, not this past one, the one before that. Coughlin was asked a question one time if he still had the desire to do it. If maybe the Giants' woes were kind of tied to he's tired and it doesn't have the same passion for it anymore. And his response to that was kind of, if people think that, you should come in my office at 6 a.m. in the morning and see me doing the job that I love to do. And it's one of those things where this is the life the only life you have ever known is being a football coach. It's what you love to do, and even at his age, with all his grandchildren and everything else that he could be doing, it's the thing he loves to do the most. And also in that interview he gave the other day, he talked about he thinks that he's built up enough credibility where he still should be important and could still help out an organization. And I think what his words really boiled down to the other day were he still wants to feel needed, still wants to feel important, like he's contributing to the game of football. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Clearly, he has been still spending a lot of time around the Giants, building around the team. And again, this is a guy who still wants to feel important. He has built up such a immaculate resume, has done so many things in this league many other people will never do. And I think he still wants to feel important. It doesn't matter if it's in sports, if it's in business, if it's in life. Everyone wants to feel like they can bring something to the table, that there's something they can help in the grand scheme of things with. And Coughlin is just another one of those guys. It's so hard to walk away from something when it's all you've known for so long. Coughlin has been at the helm for the Giants for a long time. And again, it's so hard to fully step away from something that you're so emotionally invested in. You really have poured hours of your life and your heart and your soul into this. And to walk away from it, it's just not that easy. And for Coughlin, I could understand why he would go out and say those things. Now, I really think for him, he would never hold any harsh feelings. I mean, I know he says there, don't think they're hard feelings. There's a difference between hard feelings and harsh feelings. I think Coughlin, when he says hard feelings, just means that, this is something that he still really would want to do, but he understands that times change. Sometimes you need to step away when it's time. And he did mention about the Philadelphia Eagles, and of course, a lot of Giants fans never would have wanted to see that happen. And even he kind of said that it became apparent early that it just wasn't going to be the right fit. That the two of them kind of saw things differently, and it was just never going to work. But I think most notably, that whole kind of Eagles flirting with Coughlin thing was more about just the wanting to feel needed again, wanting to still make an impact on the game in some way. Of course, he would prefer to be making that impact with the New York Giants, and clearly even during his kind of press conference when it was all kind of the resignation process was happening, the Giants said that he would kind of still have a role with the team. He still wants that role, of course, but this really does come down to wanting to feel needed, and it's something that we all want. It's something we all need, I think. I think we all need to see visible results, that we have a presence and that we have a need in a place. It doesn't matter if you're 20 or if you're 70. You need to feel like you have a reason to be involved in something and that you have a visible or a measurable impact when it comes to that. And for Coughlin, I really understand every word that he said there. And to me, the reason why he's so invaluable and why he can hold a capacity in any team, any organization, and can still be so useful is he stresses not just what's important on the football field from a tactical perspective, but the lessons that matter in life. The life lessons, doing things the right way in life really matters in the NFL. I mean, we see so many things happening today in the game where the money is so big and the egos have just gotten overinflated more than they ever have been. And it's so important to keep players on the straight and narrow path now more than ever. They need guidance now more than ever. And I think for a guy like Coughlin, who has made such an impact, such a visible impact on so many players' lives, he still holds such an important place in the game today. And if you don't need him around for the football side of things, keeping him around to teach the lessons that will last a lifetime, like he alluded to before, is just as important. And certainly for Tom Coughlin, he has learned many lessons, he has taught many lessons, and he can continue to do that. But until then, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino. You'll see all my cool Giants coverage that I did for ESPN Radio Albany on there, and I'll see everybody next time.